Hey, good afternoon. Back on the Stridecast. I am joined today by Bernadette Butler. She's the CEO at a company called StoryTap. Bernadette, thank you for being here. It's really good to see you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. This is exciting.
Yeah, this is fun. This is well, I mean, I'm going to ask you to talk about your business in a second, and I think a lot of what it is that you guys do is you spend time creating videos.
We do.
Much fancier than
Video is a
mine.
thing. Well, we live on Zoom. We live like most of my day is always just like this. So just as fancy as yours.
Cool. Okay, sweet. All right, that's validating. I like that. Hey, before you tell us who you are, and kind of what you do at StoryTap, and maybe how it came to be. Let's say we're on the other side of staying at home. So airports are functioning and airlines are back in business, and you could take a trip anywhere in the world. Where are you going first, and why?
I'd pack up my whole little family and we'd go to Australia. I married an Aussie, and we have so many plans for Aussies to come see us. I hadn't seen our kids in a couple of years, and we kind of made the decision during COVID that it's dangerous for the grandparents to come, so we'll just pack up our little family and head on over there. And that's where we'd go. We'd probably go to Tasmania, Australia.
Okay. It's winter over there now, though, right?
It's disgusting there. And it's not just winter, let me tell you. They
Really?
do not have electric heating. It's freezing. They have like fireplaces and like one unit that heats them over there. And they are all accustomed to it. Every time I've been during winter, I've got layers and layers and layers. And they're just in t-shirts and going outside for a bonfire. Yeah. I'm just trying to make my way into the house fire.
What are they doing?
It's incredible.
What are they doing temperature-wise then? Like what is...
It's a lot like Vancouver. It chills to the bone. Like it's an island, so you've got the ocean. It's really cold.
Yeah.
But I would say, very similar to here. Sometimes it gets snow, -2 max, but like it's cold. It is cold. Wow. But I would still go there because family first.
I love that. So yeah, I guess the other question I was going to ask was, where would you go and would you pack the kids? And you answered it. So
I got to pack the kids.
I love
family first.
Family trip. Yeah, that's really cool. Awesome. Tell us about you. Tell us about StoryTap.
Yeah. Okay. StoryTap. So I'll give you the high level what we are today, and if you wanted to ask questions of how we got there, happy to bare my soul and answer. So StoryTap, we are a SaaS technology product, which that means is we license our video technology to retail businesses. And essentially what our technology does is we humanize the shopping experience. So once upon a time, we would go and to buy things online, you would be looking at pictures and text, and we kind of move that all into video with video reviews and question video answering and employee videos, but it's all real people on video talking about real things that matter. That's what we do.
I'm interested in knowing how your approach or how it is that you're crafting your story is different today. So the messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to mention some of your clients?
Yeah.
That you work with?
Sure. I mean, some of our clients, Canadian Tire, Mead Johnson, UCLA, a really big telco that we all know and love here in Vancouver that I'm not allowed to talk about their name. 3 of their businesses and many more. You know, a lot of the local companies probably that we talk about. One thing that kind of shifted for us during COVID was, I would say prior to that, we were really focused on just one aspect of the humanizing the shopping experience, which was customer video reviews. And when COVID hit, it was an incredible moment in time for the world,
Sure.
But for entrepreneurs and for people that kind of sit in my similar seat. It was a wonderful time to kind of really look at your business and look at all the things that really weren't working well and things that could be improved and barriers to entry in certain areas. And so what we did is we evolved our business completely, actually. We completely transformed it into a much bigger concept, much bigger tech play, much bigger interaction between customer and merchant. And so that's where we are today. That's kind of been the evolution through COVID, is taking a little idea and just leveling up and having a bigger impact.
So many questions around that. And that's exciting. That's really cool to hear. I love that you guys have pivoted and found a way to still have an impact and be a world-class service provider, albeit differently. Maybe some of it's the same, but ultimately the way that you deliver your goods or your services is different. The product is different. Would you, like, what would you say?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, fundamentally, we haven't changed what we deliver, and that is humanizing the online shopping experience.
Yep.
I'd say StoryTap 2020, online shopping is a process, and it hasn't changed in decades. I mean, text reviews were invented in like 2006. Like, it's all they may all be on Shopify, which is great, but and the data may be new, but in terms of what we see as a consumer online, it hasn't really shifted. And so we set out to really make it better, and it was never more important than during COVID. And kind of how that little personal story went is, I don't like to buy clothes online. Every time I do, I buy clothes online, they arrive, I try them on, and it's like, man, nothing fit properly. And the one thing that did, I wouldn't have bought it if I was in the store. I just want to be able to ask someone, is this a size 8? Does it fit a size 8? Like my body size, not like this 3-dimensional thing that doesn't have my lumps and bumps. Like, is it going to fit me? And so that's really kind of the nut of it, is this really human problem we all have. Money's sacred. And if I'm going to spend it online, I want the goods to be great.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to deal with, I got to return this.
Yeah.
So just giving confidence. Mm-hmm.
Right. So how is it that StoryTap is delivering? So has there been a shift in the actual content? So
the product itself, definitely. Yeah, definitely. So the product, you mean like the actual tech?
Not so much the tech, but more the messaging. So has there been a shift in my hunch would be that the marketing might come from a more empathetic approach, or it might sort of carry more emotional weight when it connects to your audience?
The messaging has, I think early days, we were just so excited we cracked this thing. And we talked a lot about the how we do it, like this is the mechanics behind, this is our IP, this is what our patent does. Like, we talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it was probably because we were a relatively new tech play. We were getting a bit of attention, some from investors, and the pitch they want to hear is the how. And sometimes it's hard to split investor conversations and sales. Like, it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
I think we've just grown up a little bit and realized it is all about the why. It's not about the how, it's about the why. And so that's where we like to spend a lot more time is the actual core. Why should anyone give a shit? Like, why do you care? Why does it matter? And it matters because we're human.
Yep.
And we all want fundamentally the same thing. When we buy something online, we want to make a good buying decision. And how do we do that? Through information. And for us, when you peel back the layers of how people buy today, they're already on YouTube. They're already searching on Google. They're trying to do it themselves.
Yep.
And we've just helped them stay on that one retailer site and get the same real, authentic information they would have found elsewhere. So we definitely shifted to a why message for sure.
That's awesome. Good on you for being willing to do that. I mean, some of us are, some industries have been forced to pivot. And I think, when I hear you describe the shifts that you guys have made, that's encouraging. It's encouraging possibly to, other tech entrepreneurs, other tech companies that hear this conversation and go, cool, there's Bernadette, there's StoryTap. And she just described a scenario where she was like, hey, we're good at what we're good at, but it was an opportunity for us to really refocus maybe, and maybe redefine to ourselves. Yeah,
I think for me, I mean, I've always been so busy. I've got 2 kids, insert every mother here or father, but like activities. And and especially when you're running a tech company, there's so many people that want your time, and depending where you work and distractions, like you're so busy. COVID, I mean, let's remove the horrificness of it.
Yeah.
What an incredible time. You're sitting on your butt at home. You are now just focusing on, for me, kids' schoolwork and my business.
Yeah.
And sometimes cleaning the house and sometimes my marriage. But like those fundamentally are just 2 things, not 20 things.
Yep.
I'm not seeing friends.
Yep.
And so what was really fantastic is you realize, wow, I am a crappy parent. I have to work on something there. But also there's a lot of crappiness with my company. And how do I fix that? And when you actually have time for the first time, like to literally sit with the things that bug you and let them bug you.
Yep.
That's honestly how we made this shift. Is it bothered me. I was able to formulate what it was that was irritating me enough that I went, oh, we got to level up. And it was as simple as that. And then conversations happen and ideas happen and product evolution happened and we're sketching and we're building. It's like, can we code this? How fast can we code this? And it's literally, it was like that. And it just went from spending time with the things that bug you, really, as a business.
So much power in that. And I've been having, not just on the podcast, but in conversations in my life, both personally, professionally, that, and I've kind of pulled back slightly, or I did earlier on, like a few weeks ago. I was less comfortable talking about this period as representing an opportunity for some of us. Mm-hmm. I don't know if emotionally everybody was ready for that. And I actually got some messages from people being like, what do you mean, dude? Opportunity? Like, we're all going through this and it's such a horrible time. Yes, I get that. Highly empathetic to all of that. But as you described, Bernadette, like being at home, you're a busy mom. We talked about that a little bit before we hit record here. So if what you have is this opportunity to pause in some moments where you otherwise would not have been able to do that, what is the value of that? So what are you learning when you actually do pause and you kind of take that 360 and say, where am I at as a parent or as a business leader? Where is the brand at? And move forward accordingly. If you're okay with getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is another saying that I love using, that there is an opportunity here for you to reassess, maybe reset, and move forward with a different trajectory. And you seem to be living that.
Well, and I also think a lot of entrepreneurs that I've met and had the pleasure to meet, a lot of us are optimistic by nature. Like, sure. I'm optimistic to the point of almost being annoying for a lot of people. Like, it's like, would you quit saying it's going to get better?
Here she comes again saying that it's going to work out. God.
I know, I can't help it. But then the other side of things is also being an entrepreneur is you are always working uphill. Like, you are always climbing, like, no, never. Every entrepreneur goes, oh, I'm going to climb this mountain and one day I'm just going to be smooth sailing. Yep. Bullshit. Yeah. It's this. And it's just because you chose it to be that. And I think that combination mixed with an opportunity to just slow it all down, I think it's kind of this perfect storm of opportunity and innovation.
Yeah.
And a chance to, I mean, look, I don't code personally. So it's an idea that had to come together and evolve and then like make it turn into something and then have willing clients to go, yes. How fast can this be live? And then it was like, wow, then you got validation and, there's a lot of screw ups along the way and I'm sure we'll make a lot of errors, but
sure,
that's part of creativity.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess another thing that comes to mind as you describe what you just did is stepping out of the forest. So in this moment, stepping out of the forest, which is our regular life, which is managing the kids, making sure they're getting to school, making lunches, making dinners, cleaning, taking care of, being mindful of your spouse. And then of course your business, that if this moment represents an opportunity to step out of that for a second, so stepping out of the forest and focus on a couple of singular trees. And what are those trees that you're going to spend your time focusing on? And
those that scream the loudest, the children and the business.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Bernadette, can you tell me a little bit about, before I lose it, you had started an initiative with your team. Was it called Stories from Home? I meant to jump on LinkedIn and check.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, totally. So when COVID hit, Yes. Oh my gosh, good on you.
Team
So
building. I mean, I think it's great.
part of our culture that we work really hard on is impact. And I actually met my co-founder at an impact-based incubator, which if you're not in
Cool.
tech, you're like, what did she just say? Anyways, place where you work where people do good. And we've always wanted to do good. So every chance we get, we work with a lot of nonprofits, and we want to be a company with heart. And so we thought, well, how could we help? So we did a few things. So we used our technology to get people to spread that they're staying home and how they're staying positive.
Yeah.
We did videos around, we did several, thanking first responders, where people could just grab their phone and thank first responders. And there was another one, and it's escaping me. But yeah, we did.
Awesome.
We all just had a quick brainstorm of how can we help. And also, we had a lot of small businesses that reached out to us that obviously have been hurt pretty tough with the
Sure.
COVID and their retail.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's just do this. Let's just help you out. We just want to help. Like, don't worry about paying. Let's just help. And I think a lot of people had that approach during COVID and still have that approach during COVID. And it's the right thing to do. Like, we're fortunate that we chose a piece of business that is video, and we're not hurting. Others are. We all gotta wear some of this together and help out where we can.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's great. I'm a big culture guy, big team building guy. And I think when you talk about, what you guys had started and doing videos, with the team and posting, I think I saw Nick Jora's on LinkedIn. I think I saw yours as well. You did one too, right?
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I think that's a huge part of building culture. So, or I should say that I think that speaks to the culture that you've built as a CEO. Can you tell me the importance, like at a time like this, maybe more than under what we would call normal circumstances, the importance of connecting with your team and really staying committed to that culture that you've built up to this point?
Yeah. It's complex, I think. We've always, there's always been a big, I'd say, internal conflict, where my co-founder really loves the remote working, and I am a bit more old school, and I like going to an office. So there's always been this, I've always just kind of like grow the team through an office, and he's just really encouraged everyone to work from home. So we've never really been aligned until COVID. And then, now I'm kind of seeing what he's been talking about. He loves working from home and having that flexibility. So the culture side for me, part of what I love about an office is the culture, is this talking to you, catching up, grabbing a cup of coffee, the in-person energy, and the ability to kind of excite and ignite in person, and especially from the sales side of things, where we're talking to people and prospects, and it's that, like, it can be lonely doing sales. Sales is a tough thing to do,
Sure.
especially when you have a new product. And I just love that idea. So we did have to make this huge shift, and the culture aspect was really important, and keeping connected with people. The other part that was tough is that people are working at different hours. Like, we've got one person on our team that's in England. So I'm getting up, this is going to be gross, but I'm getting up at 4:30, and I can sync with her like at 3:00 in the afternoon for her till 6:00.
Yep.
I've got another girl in Toronto. And so we've got time zones, and, it's not better or worse. It is challenging. It is tough. People are obviously feeling a lot right now. We are all feeling a lot. And depending on what your job is at StoryTap, some of it is easier than others. And being mindful of that, and still trying to carve out that real human, like, how are you time is important. We'll see how we go, but we were fortunate enough to really see the light of culture early on through being in different accelerators and really understanding the importance of culture. So we spent a lot of time of, who do we want to be? We just don't want to fall into bad culture. We want to intentionally grow good culture. And so it's now more important. We have weekly calls where we want to, everything on our little culture board, we try to bring it back into the forefront. And one of them is celebration. So we like to celebrate our wins, how big or how small they are.
I love
Like
that.
whatever that is,
Yep.
let's celebrate.
Yep.
Just for example, and of course, impact and the rest of it. So
Celebration.
yeah, it's important.
So important. One of the things I ask, I'll ask guests or I'll ask clients, one of the first things I'll ask them is, how do you celebrate? So when they're a titled leader like yourself, so in the C-suite or at a, anybody in a leadership position, I go, hey, what do you do? Like, so how do you show your people that you appreciate them, or how do you, appreciate the mute on the cough there? We joked about this before.
Sorry, I muted the cough.
No, that was
Sorry.
good. Is that piece of celebration. So good on you. So in your role again as the founder, co-founder, yes?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. I have a co-founder. I originally founded the company, but definitely I couldn't have done this without my co-founder. So I've just always taken co-founder.
I want to make sure I respected the partner if there was one.
Yes.
How do you feel, like, what is your responsibility for how it is that you show up for the team? So what do you think they appreciate about Bernadette today?
I don't know. What do they appreciate?
This isn't the time to be humble, by the way. In case this is uncomfortable, it probably should be. So
good question. I don't know. I mean, what do I bring to the table? So, obviously I'm a leader. I think a lot of what we do is we're constantly unlocking. We're an early stage tech company. Like, we're not late stage, we're early stage. And with that comes, we're still figuring things out. I mean, we just launched a product that we still have to figure out how to message it properly and validate it faster and all those things. And so a lot of what I do is probably challenge the team to keep being uncomfortable, keep trying new things. I think the other part that I do spend quite a bit of time on, and even today, is this notion of like the freedom to, the freedom to fly and the freedom to fall. And the most important part in there is the freedom to fall. I think, as I kind of always say, I'm a bit like a mama bear. I guess I'm a mother, but I feel like I'm the mother of StoryTap. And so I do find sometimes, and I think I've also been in the situation working for employers where you want to do a good job. And I think we hire great people and they just want to do a good job. Nobody wants to fail.
Sure.
But it's the failures where we learn the most. And if I think back to my journey with StoryTap, my biggest gains have been when I've smacked my face against the ground and have sat there in pain of going, literally crying in my car. Those have been my biggest breakthroughs of when I couldn't do it. And so I think it's that coaching. It's like, we're not all like, especially right now, it's a difficult time. You aren't going to hit your quotas. You aren't and I don't want you to.
Sure.
Let's explore other ways to move slightly forward, but not in a way that the business needs, in a way that you need personally, and that is overall beneficial. And I think maybe it's kind of a murky answer to your question, but
it's cool. We got there. I know you're processing it out loud, and that
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
You've asked me that before.
Feel what you need to feel, and encouraging that, I think, at all levels is what I take from that. I also take from that there's a level of empathy there, which you inherently give a shit about people around you. But certainly if you describe yourself as being the mother of StoryTap or the mom role, I know what that means. And I think viewers will agree that responsibility is clear, to be the protector, to be the one that is the first one to answer the phone call. But then I also hear the encouragement, and I love this. I phrase it as getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you encouraging that and being okay with it. So, hey, we're all feeling a certain type of way, and there's things happening in our lives right now that are uncomfortable. I see you. I respect that. And so put the gun down, right? Like, we're okay. We're going to get through this.
Put the gun down. I love it. I think the other side, I do play bad cop. Like when we get on calls or if something needs to happen, like I think in a past life, I would have played a really good villain. I'm okay with playing the bad. Like, I don't have to be liked. Like, that's not my role. My role is not to make a lot of friends. I don't have to be liked.
Sure.
I want to be a good leader. And so it is complicated, and you've got to have hard conversations and sometimes be a bit tough, and people have to be accountable for what they do. But kind of pulling out the greatness and giving them credit for what they achieve, and even the failures that happens, because that unlocks something else that's incredible.
Yep.
That goes back to celebration, but being able to see that and kind of work with that is pretty exciting.
That's super cool to hear from you. I'm hearing, of course, the celebration piece, but then also the empowerment, right? Is this a time where your team, even we need the encouragement that, hey, look, you're doing a great job. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being all that you can be, even during difficult circumstances. Even just that reminder, I think I know there's a ton of power in just, as leaders, in pausing and saying, wait a second, who have I acknowledged today? Who have I reminded? Or have I taken a second to go, hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you showing up. And that, I think, it's imperative, especially in a time like this. And so at a time like this, Bernadette, there's likely going to be a number of entrepreneurs watching us today and tuning in, looking for maybe some inspiration around, or even some direct advice around, or hearing, be of value to hear your thoughts around what it is that you want to share with them. Are there tidbits that you would like to leave with entrepreneurs that are possibly struggling in their business or don't know how to, whether in the tech space or otherwise?
Yeah.
What do you want to say to them?
Look, I just think it's about being honest with yourself. And I think what entrepreneurs have is this imposter syndrome, where we all think, I can't do that. We can't do that. And it's valuable to have that and to feel that. We all feel that. But I actually learned something that's taken me quite far, and I'd love to share this. And I learned this at Techstars. So Techstars is one of our investors and a global accelerator. I had the pleasure of, and I don't even know who did the talk. I should credit them, but I don't know who they are, but I will say it's Techstars. And they said to give that voice in your head, that nagging voice that says you're not good enough, you can't do this, that company's way better than you, you're going to fail, you're going to lose your house, none of your friends are, like that voice, name it, give it a name, and then just tell it to shut up. And I love it. I named mine Pauline after a person I went to school with once that I do not care for. And I just say, Pauline, zip it. And, it just gets you out of that, that voice.
Yeah.
That as an entrepreneur, you struggle to put yourself out there and to take these really uncomfortable leaps and pick up the phone and be really out of your comfort zone, because you've got more on the line than most people. You're feeding families. Your house is on the line. My house is on the line. These are the real things. And when I understood that everybody had that little voice, everyone kind of felt like that sometimes. You're about to do a big pitch and you're like, you can't pitch. You can't even, blah, blah, blah. Shut up, Pauline. So there you go. I love that. And it stuck with me, that little name it and shame it.
That's so cool. So when you talk about limiting beliefs, put your finger on why, right? So identify who that Pauline is in your life, and whether in fact that Pauline exists or not, right? Mm-hmm. Is it your own bullshit?
It's totally my bullshit, but I love personifying, giving it a name and then addressing it. It's or it just quietly talks. It's just look at it. And that honesty part, it took me a long time. I kind of was raised in this family where you fake it to make it, and it's okay. You that notion of dress the part and walk in there. And it's, as a female entrepreneur, there is some of that, sure. But the reality is get real and look at the dirt in the corners and address them, because nobody is going to address the dirt in the corners but you.
Yep.
And that is one that, everyone has their strengths, but if you're in the same spot I'm in, strengths, whatever, you've got to do it all. And eventually you're hiring people to do those awesome things. Of course you are, but you have to be knowledgeable enough to know what the hell they're doing. Sure. Before you're hiring your controller and your account and all that, you've got to have some idea. And so you have to do it. You shouldn't be great at it. Of course not, but you've got to do it. And I think the dirt in the corners is a really important one. And that could be anything. It depends on who you are. I'm a marketer, so I always go towards marketing stuff. And all the rest of it kind of falls by the wayside. But I don't have that luxury. I get to look at all that other stuff and go, wow, I need to hire a marketer because I don't have time. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that. I think, a lot of the answers are within that dirt, in those boxes that have been sitting in the closet for a long time. There's the answer, and be willing to lean into discomfort. Bernadette, that's what I'm hearing from you a lot today is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable and stepping forward. It'll be tough, but it'll be worth it.
Like calling your competitors, like that's dirt in the corner. Call them. What's going on over there? Find out. Like really find out. Don't make assumptions. Like know your stuff. And that's part of the dirt in the corners. It's like not assuming you're the only show in town, like really getting real with what they're working on, what could be great, what could be a real threat down the road.
Sure.
Because that knowledge is really just going to help you, not to obsess about what they're up to, but to really understand what others are working on.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to know.
Thank you, Bernadette. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll make sure I stay in touch. Good luck with StoryTap moving forward, and
thank you.
Yeah, I hope you guys come out of this, and I hope you come out of this in a better spot. Take care of that family, and I'll look forward to hopefully soon seeing some photos from your trip to Australia, because I think we all at some level would love to jump on that plane and go enjoy time with family, and so I'll hope that for you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. This is awesome.
Thanks, Bernadette. We'll chat soon.
Okay. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.